I can see this is going to go over very well today already.
I don't know.
Bear with me a
Starting some
second.
just
Let's,
starting some trouble.
I know.
yeah, get
Stepping on
that.
some toes.
Well, um, there's a way that I come up with these meetings, right? Before I do that, here, let me record here. Let me get the party started. All right, everyone. Hello. It is Monday, TGIM. My name is Robert Blakely. We're coming to you live from my office here in Sinton, Texas. We do this every Monday at 12 Eastern Standard Time. If you're watching us live on YouTube, feel free to join us. All you got to do is go up to your browser there and type in live.thelosttransition.com, and you can join us while we're live. What we do here every Monday is we meet, get ready for the week. We celebrate the successes and wins from last week, or maybe it's even something that you're excited about this week. Hint, 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 hint. Get your wins ready. And then we've got a special little portion that we do every Monday that we've been doing for over 4 years now, religiously. It's like taking you to church, kind of, sort of, but not really. Um, and what we do is we have a little training piece. And then we open it up for questions and answers. It's a true mastermind so that we can kind of motivate you for this week. Maybe get rid of any dark thoughts that you might have had for last week if you had a bad week last week. And celebrate those successes, get the energy flowing. So that's what we do every Monday. And this is week 49. This one we're titling Vision and Procrastination. For those of you guys that have been hanging around and you know a little bit about the method to my madness, so to speak. I literally I just let the universe talk to me a little bit, and then I nowadays run things through artificial intelligence. I get the right idea and the vision that I want to take, hint, hint, which is why we're going to talk a little bit about vision. And then I, boom, move into action. Some of you guys that have worked with me before know that that's exactly what I do, right? That's part of why I'm named the Blakester. I immediately, if I figure something out or learn something, I want to move into action as quickly as possible. But there's a reason why some of us procrastinate and why some of us maybe just don't have the right vision. So overall, my goal here today is to help you get ready for 2026. Because if you're not ready, you're not happy, then and excited, then I don't know what to tell you. Because 2026 to me looks like it's going to be an amazing year. There are a lot of things happening. Are there some maybe dark things that are out there if you pay attention to politics and social media coming down the pike? And potentially, yes, yes, right? So it's our mission, our job to make sure that we in our lives, in our household, are protected as much as we can. And one of those ways that we can be protected was with the right knowledge, right? So vision is something very important to talk about. It's something that a lot of people just don't get, especially when it comes to the network marketing arena and space. So we're going to talk about that. But before we get started, we got to start it off with some wins from the audience. So anybody got some wins that they want to start the show off with? And then I've got some that I'm going to share. I do need at least that 30 minutes so we can't go over too long, right? So, but I would love to hear if you got some wins from last week. Now is the time to share them. Paul, my man, drive safely. Please be careful. Hate doing lives and talking online. And hi, Jackie. Glad to see you, girl. You got to unmute yourself, though, brother. Careful while doing it. We'll come back to you once you unmute. Be careful, okay? Last thing we need is to see you have an accident. I would hate that. It just makes my skin
Mm.
crawl when I see people doing live. And I appreciate you being here, though. But let's go to Virgil for now, and then Paul, whenever you come to a stoplight or pull over or something like that, let us know.
Yeah. drive safe. That's always important. And
Yes.
that was
Yes.
actually one of my wins last week,
Right.
coming from um, coming from the event there. I had to take the wheel, and I had this kind of apprehension of taking the wheel here because it's literally the Wild West on the road with motorcycles and like VTC type transport people that have their own companies, and so it's really wild. And I handle it pretty well. The passing note that I'm getting from people that I took on as passenger is a solid 7.5. So that's one of my victories, actually, come to think of it. Um, the second one is actually remaining consistent with what I've set forward to do. And actually, that is one of the good things. I mean, your subjects are always on point because to be consistent, you have to adhere to something that is always set as the prize, especially through adversity. So that is definitely one of my wins, staying consistent on the drive that I put forward to, the
Yeah.
goals that I put forward to achieve. And the last one is my weekend ended up with a client follow up. This well of a contract that I've been pursuing for the past month, it's slowly coming into shape. It's really one of those things where you have to be patiently mining the client's reaction, not to shoo them away. And they came back this weekend. We had a conversation, an exchange this morning, and we have a full presentation tomorrow. Last time we did that, we were three in the room, one of my lucky numbers. And today, he seems to be bringing a bigger audience to scale the opportunity and ask writer questions across departments. So it's picking up momentum, and it's one of those deals that will open up the rest of the flood of opportunities. So I'm pretty psyched about that. I'll see what happens tomorrow. Cross my fingers. Most likely it's gonna go well, and then I'll have that win to share next week, next Monday. Wish me
Nice.
luck.
Nice. I love it. I'm crossing my fingers and my toes. Love it. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you
No
sharing.
problem.
For those of you that might be watching, don't know, or on the replay, I love living vicariously through you guys. I can't be everywhere all at once, but I love especially seeing the wins, man. So thanks for sharing those with us. Anybody want to go next? Who would like to go next, shall I say? Hey, Dale. Appreciate you popping in. Hi, Vicky. Don't be shy. Paul, pull over somewhere. Rita, you care to share? You got anything to share? Because I don't
Um,
mind. Like, we can do a quick share and then I can run into these slides because I know that what I want to share with you guys today should be very impactful and we can spend some time on them.
I don't want to share today,
Okay,
but
fine.
I'm lying. I'm lying. I always want to share. What am I
I
talking about?
was gonna say, fine, don't.
We'll be that way. Um, definitely. I did. I think I did talk about the fall I had. Um, mu
Yes.
much better.
Yeah.
Getting back to normal, and I learned some things about the body healing. And so, but which is a good thing. It's not looking like what it looked like before. So that was a good thing. The other thing was I did attend the Eric Worre's 3-day event that came with something that I had purchased, and I was asked a question, and I was sharing with Paul about was it is it worth going to see, and it's I will say that wherever you are in your process, you will pick up. Like I can't bring the event to you because I don't know where you are. Like Virgil and Blakester would not be in the same place I am.
Right.
So, in the hierarchy of things. But, I did pick up a couple of things. And so, it was worth it. It so, and of course, that will be shared. Um, I did make some edits on my email campaign, which I changed some pictures and just kind of looked at the information. So I'm really excited about that, and also started working back on Muppets. So a couple of things that are going on. I'm excited about that, and I need a push, Lakester.
Perfect.
I need a push for
Today's the day. You
I
see
don't
how this
care.
works?
I don't care if you push me. Well, yes, that is true. It's called procrastination. Absolutely, yes. I
Oh,
I will find
oh,
other
it
things to
gets
do that are
even
more
better.
fun.
Wait till we dive into the slides. This gets even better. It'll be the exact push that everybody here should need. So,
Yeah, yeah. Well, not waiting for the perfection part. I just said I'm just gonna go do it, and
but we don't have to be perfect because that'll never happen, right? That's never gonna happen.
well, I'm perfect, and I
I
lie. I yield back to you.
like to say, Po Buddy's perfect, my friend.
Hey, can you hear me yet?
We can hear you, brother. You feel like sharing
Awesome.
now?
Hey, by the way, my hands are always at 10 and 2. It's very important to me for safe driving. So don't
Okay.
worry. I've got a special phone holder right here on
Okay.
my steering.
All right.
Yeah. So if you do hear a crash, it's not because of me.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah. And if it happens, then I guess I'll be able to claim that I have a crash on you, Blake, sir. Yeah. Um, but yeah, I just want to let you know the thing that my big win is that I found you in this group last week and joined, and I've known about you for over a year, but I didn't realize the value and the resources and everything available through you and the people in the mastermind group. So I am just so thankful. I prayed and thanked God for that.
Yeah.
Um, Rita is so amazing, and I
Yes,
get
you do.
joy because every time I think of Rita, I think of the Beatles song "Rita Mita Made," and I just get happy. It's a great song. So if you haven't heard it, if you're on the call, Google it, listen to it. It's a very happy song. Um, yeah, so I just wanted to say that I have two things I'm going to be promoting. So, and that's what I'm going to stick with. I haven't told you about one coach because it just came to me last night. I realized something I've been doing for 7 months. It's paying real good. So I want to help people with that. Plus my Flow of Soul Poetry Ministry
For
and
sure.
the digital product. So looking forward to it. I think 2026 is going to be a phenomenal hallmark year for me. And
100%. I believe
and
that.
it's going to be in 90+% will be because of this group and the resources and the
Oh,
strategies and the brainstorming. And yeah, I can see why you have no hair in your head because that gray matter is just so massive. It pushes it all out to the surface there, bro. So I get it.
that's hilarious. Believe it or not, I have my father's head, and I was thinning when I was like 18 years old. So when I was younger, I had it folded, combed over, in the middle, parted in the middle, feathered back. I was
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
I was born in '69, so I was like
yeah,
a
yeah. Me, I was
75
born. I
creation.
was born in '62, bro,
Yeah.
and anyway, I decided I am getting cremated because at least there's going to be one day that I live on Earth. Well, live and then not live, but I will have a smoking hot body.
There you go. There you go.
So it's going to take cremation to do it, but that's okay with me. I yield the floor back to you, Sir Blakester.
Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you popping in. And hello, Doria. And hi, Tony. Appreciate you guys joining us. Any other wins that you guys want to share? Love it, love it, love it. No? Yes? No? All right. So I'll share a couple wins that I'm excited about this week. And then we can dive into these slides because there's a lot of good stuff that I'm going to talk about today. So I'm glad you're here. So I'm excited because today I get to go to my massage therapy today. I get a whole hour of massage. Then I go to the chiropractor for my adjustment. Wednesday, I get to go to the dentist. See, a lot of people would say, "Oh, I don't like the dentist." Me, I'm like, "Yes, I get to go to the dentist. I'm excited for that." And then Thursday, we go to get my hearing checked, even though I don't think it's bad. The wife complains about it, but there's that thing called selective hearing, which we won't get into. Got way more work done on the completion or on the road to completion for the lost transition. made a change this morning that makes it look super sexy on the inside. I can't wait to show those of you guys that get involved. And, I've got people that are on standby for the completion, which is even cooler, right? So appreciate all of you guys that have given me your trust this far. And then also, oh yeah, the in-laws are coming. They'll be here in a few hours, so they'll be here to visit for a few days. So we're looking forward to that as well. So yes, lots of wins to celebrate. Appreciate y'all being here. Let's dive in. If nobody else has any other wins that they want to share,
I
going
got one more
once.
thing, bro.
Sure, go ahead.
Well, you speaking of the dentist, this is a Paul original, so I just
All
want to be
right.
clear about it.
Sure.
What do dentists and proctologists have in common?
Uh-oh. I don't know what.
And just for the people on the call that may not know what that is, that's when us men getting up in years have to go and bend over, and the guy with the glove on has to check us out, deep inside. So, anyway, dentists and proctologists, what do they have in common? They both really enjoy doing cavity searches.
You're hilarious, Paul. I'm glad we got you here. And then, I was
Thank you.
talking to
Thank
Rita.
you very much.
I was talking to Rita earlier today, man. The other day when you did your joke about pickleball, I should have broke out my pickleball set from T-Mobile here. I will play pickleball one day with this set. We don't know when, but it's there. We're gonna use it.
Now, just so I'm from, even though I'm a Christian, I'm from Jewish family in the background. So, if I ever play it, it will be kosher pickleball.
Love you, brother. Appreciate you. Appreciate you, man. Love you.
Right back at you.
All right, let's throw some slides in here. If you guys don't have any other ones that you want to share,
I
because
guess I can do one. I didn't want to do it since I came late.
that's all right. Appreciate you being here, girl.
Oh, okay. Hi,
Awesome.
everybody. I'll just share just one. Yeah, so last week I was busy putting our proposal together for our veterans group. And yeah, it was my first one. I've been trained how to do it, but it was actually my first one, and I ended up getting approved. And
Hell
so
yeah.
yeah.
Woo, that's a win.
So
Yes.
really excited, and the person, like I'd shared with you guys, I had a little bit of scrutiny. People didn't really, know who I was and didn't know my level of competence and
Sure.
potential. And to have the executive director circle around and say thank you, and that I was fulfilling their vision of what they had with this part of the organization they created. And granted, no one sat me down to tell me what that vision was.
Uh,
So
oh,
it was just me kind of, flying the wind if you could. And then to have the old president that stepped down that allowed me to be in this position to shake my hand and said how he was so grateful that I was able to step up. And he couldn't have done what I've done so far in this 1 year. So I've only done 1 year and I have one more year to go before I'm gonna lay it down. But
wow.
yeah, so that was really good to
Congratulations.
really strangers, after this 1 year to give me that kind of cred. So that was pretty good.
100%. Well, I mean, you're worthy of that credit because of who you are and what you do, right? And what I want to mention, I heard you say that word in there, vision.
Hmm.
It's crazy how the universe works, especially when it comes to these kind of things in our Monday masterminds. So perfect timing. I'm glad you're here. We're going to talk a little bit about that. As always, I encourage you guys to take notes. Paul, you're going to have to take mental notes. Don't be trying to take notes while you're driving, because we will be dropping some gold nuggets, some bars on you. That is the overall message and plan for me today. First off, thank you for sharing, Durant. Don't want to dismiss that. That's absolutely phenomenal. And it's like, it doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me, girl. Keep on kicking ass. Let me go ahead and let's start the slides here because again, it leads into that word vision that you mentioned, right? And for today's presentation and information, this is week 49. We're going to talk about vision and procrastination. There's a reason, if you will, or a method to my madness, as I like to start off by saying, and I'm just kind of connected to the universe in such a way to where it's like, okay, what do I feel is the biggest thing or topic that we need to talk about, and try to bring that to light, what's going on in people's lives. And again, this is all just from paying attention to what's happening, how I feel ultimately as well, and then mainly getting ready for 2026. That's the big thing, right? So I want you guys to pay close attention to the words I'm going to be explaining to you. If you can, remove all distractions, right? Minus driving, obviously, and definitely take some notes. My overall goal with you here today is to kind of do a little bit of psychology, maybe have you lay down in the couch just a little bit and talk to you a little bit about vision and procrastination. And we're going to unlock a few things that maybe you didn't know, right? Maybe you didn't know before, and then unlock more things about helping you get past some of the procrastination that you might be currently going through in your life. So, that being said, I wanted to say like procrastination isn't laziness, right? It's actually something way deeper, right? And we're going to talk about that. Um, here's what nobody tells you. It doesn't have anything to do with laziness at all when it comes to procrastination, right? How many of you have been called lazy? Or maybe you called yourself lazy? Like, oh my God, I feel so lazy, right? I thank you for first off being honest and truthful with me. But if you were truly lazy, you wouldn't feel guilty about not doing things. I'll say that again. If you were truly lazy, you wouldn't feel guilty about not doing things, right? You wouldn't want to do them. So the point that I'm trying to make is the guilt proves that you actually care. So why can't you make yourself do it? You might be asking yourself, because that's the question that we should be asking, right? I'm going to dive pretty deep into the real reason. More importantly, what we're going to do to fix it so that we can move forward when it comes to those points in time where you might feel a little bit of procrastination, right? Ultimately, if I was to put pictures up here, it would be pictures of a vision and then maybe uh, Virgil's fuel can. If you have no vision, you have no fuel. I, that's why we have procrastination, because there's no actual vision behind the things that we don't want to do. That makes sense? So that being said, we're gonna tap into this, and you guys should get some amazing value out of this. But as I said, if you don't have a vision, you have no fuel. Often when I talk to students and people just in general, right, you might have heard me say this before. I ask them what's their vision. That's one of the biggest questions that I ask everybody that I'm talking to. Unless I know, okay, I need to get directly to the point, I have to ask, what is that person's vision? There's a reason behind that, especially psychologically, especially if I'm looking to try to help somebody solve a problem or have them join my team because the product that I have will help solve that problem, right? But your brain itself isn't going to spend energy on a destination that it can't see. So if you can't see something clear or like a reward, if you will, for what it is that you're doing, then that goes towards that procrastination, right? I want you to think about it for a minute. When's the last time that you sprinted towards something that you didn't know you were sprinting towards? You just ran to run? No. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you don't procrastinate on picking up your kids from school, do you? Why? because the consequences are real and the action is clear. If you don't pick up your kids from school, something bad could happen. They could get kidnapped. The principal could call you, whatever the case may be, right? But procrastination inside your brain is, or excuse me, is your brain's way of saying, like, I don't see why this matters enough. Did you hear what I just said? Procrastination is your brain's way of saying, I don't see why this matters enough. So I want to say that clear and loud so that next time you think about, procrastinating or you have that idea in your head, I want me to boom, pop into your head. Or maybe I'm like that little devil on your shoulder, right? Good and bad, evil and good. I don't know. Put me on whichever one you want. But then say, okay, well, why should this matter? As an example that comes right to my mind, that's been talked about for many years between men and women and relationships. Right? Something as simple as taking out the trash. Right? I could dive into that if you need me to, but it's like, okay, well, wife complains about not taking out the trash. Man will take out the trash to keep wife from not complaining if they're smart, right? So, but what's the procrastination if you don't take out the trash? Well, wife is gonna be mad. Everybody with me so far? Right? Just want to make sure we're on the same sheet of music. So there has to be a vision in almost everything that you do. This is what I'm trying to get implanted into your skull. So that when something does happen and or you learn something, you notice, you have the spatial awareness to say, this must get done. Maybe you got to add it to your 78-hour timesheet that we talk about, right? Put a little box next to it to get it done. Whatever it takes so that you move forward. But you're not going to even do that if you don't have a vision. You won't even write it down. But if you write it down, now that's going to solidify that vision a little bit more subconsciously so that you will move forward towards that. So if you're a person like me, I didn't like to write shit down. I think, I'll remember all that, right? Oh, shit, what was that again? Had to go back and try to remember things. There's no real vision behind it. If I had a vision, then I would say, okay, it's important enough for me to take notes so that I have something that I can go back to if it comes back again, right? So I'm trying to get into your brain a little bit so that you can have smaller visions, if you will. And then those smaller visions are what actually leads to bigger visions, or I like to say, creating smaller goals to create bigger goals. Just like weight loss, right? If I was going to lose weight, I wouldn't say, okay, my goal is to lose 40 pounds by next summer. Like I would never say that because it's not solidifying or anchoring anything in my subconscious mind to lose that amount of weight in that time, right? I don't see a bigger vision. I don't see me looking ripped walking down the beach. If I did, then maybe I would move towards doing that a little bit more, right? But again, if you have no vision equals no fuel. Back to what I was saying about the people that I talk to, most people, when I talk to them, when I ask about a vision, it's hard for them to come up with. So therefore, if it's hard to come up with some type of vision, it's going to be difficult for you to ever have it manifest or to ever come to fruition, right? Your brain itself runs a cost benefit analysis on everything, even the little things that you do. Even if there's no reward, then obviously then there's going to be procrastination that's going to come into your way. Your mission, your job is to crush the procrastination by seeing a bigger vision, even if it's a small vision. You guys with me so far? If so, put a one in the chat area if you can. Not you, Paul. Keep your hands on the wheel.
Jorge asked, what is vision? A thought without a purpose?
I don't think that's a statement. It is more of a question, but no vision. I don't have the textbook answer, but to me, a vision is something that you can clearly see in what I like to call my mind's eye, so that I can physically see it. Just like if I'm talking to a customer and I'm asking them to tell me about their vision, I want them to get as dark rooted into their vision as possible. Like, what do you want the money for? Like, what are you accustomed to now? What would you do with that money? Right? And I don't want to get ahead of myself because within some of the slides that I have coming, they'll probably answer your question a little bit more as well. But you have to physically see it. Like, okay, clear, quick example going back to the wife and the husband with the trash being taken out. Well, the clear vision as the husband is not having the wife complain or get mad at him because he didn't take the trash out, right? The one that doesn't take the trash out has no vision at all, right? And his wife is mad at him, right? I trust that helps in answering that. Go ahead, Rita.
I think for as it the things that are a little more not practical, but
Pragmatic?
no, like right in your face, whatever that's called. So, for example, for my bedroom, if I am thinking about rearranging it, I start getting all the stuff I need together in
Go.
pictures and things that I want it to look like
You get
and
a vision.
create that vision. Yes.
Yeah,
And then I can move on it because I have now said, okay, I've got to move this over here and that over there. So
right.
that's how I work through a physical, maybe it's a physical kind of vision.
Hmm.
But when things are not hands on, if I can say that, like pushing furniture around and that kind of stuff. But
Sure.
if it's something that's more mental, there are more pieces. Like this stuff that we're doing now, there's more pieces. Like
Sure.
you've got the pieces, Virgil's got the pieces, and you both help to put the pieces together. So that to me, as in terms of a vision, is a little bit different.
Right. Sure. Sure. Totally understand that. But you're right, right? It comes down to the vision, and that vision is you getting all those things together so that you can see it. Okay, I like the way that that looks. That's your payoff. That's your reward. That's why you move towards making it happen, right? So, clear example. Thank you. So, let's talk a little bit about the brain science behind all this, right? Because again, we're talking about psychology and talk about the brain, and there's tons of stuff that we can get into neurons and neuroplasticity and all kinds of different stuff. But as I mentioned just a moment ago, your brain runs a cost benefit analysis on everything, right? Again, this goes back to all the things that we talk about when it comes to building value within what it is that you actually share with other people, right? Case in point, Paul, same thing as what Dorea was saying with the people. They didn't know that she had that ability. Paul didn't know that we have all this cool stuff going on to help you get where it is that you want to go, right? Because first off, if your mindset isn't right, I know you hear it a lot, but it's true. If your mindset isn't right to begin with, then you're gonna fail 100% of the time. Now you tie that in with actually having a vision. If you have a vision and you can clearly see what that vision is, you have better odds of achieving that, right? Going back to the conversation that I have, because I know we're doing the loop-de-loops here, but a lot of people just say they want to be happy, right? Well, what does that consist of? Happiness to me is to have balance. It's a magical word. That means balance within your work life, your love life, your health life, your wealth life, right? Whatever your pillars are that you want to, you know, fall underneath. But the primitive brain itself wants to conserve energy for survival. Our brains are only wired for survival. You need to understand this if you don't already, right? So I can go back to immediately the thoughts that come into my head is the programming that happens as we go into, schools, especially in the United States and elsewhere, right? The wife and I were talking about this morning. I believe, take it for what it is. I believe that we have certain skills beyond what we might imagine, beyond our belief. Mostly we can't tap into them because there's things that are missing, right? Parts of the brain that don't fire like maybe they used to in the past, call it whatever. But the brain itself is only wired for survival. It's to survive. Like if a truck's coming at you, what are you going to do? You're going to move out of the damn way. It's a natural instinct, right? Fight or flight or freeze that comes to mind, right? So you have to go then now into school, and now they're indoctrinating you. Now they tell you that this is this way and this is that way. So there's years of programming and technically unprogramming that we have to do. And most of us don't get to that point in life, unfortunately. Sad but true, hard but fair, like my drill sergeant used to say. But those that take the time to have that awareness and learn, right? Those are the ones that can have the most success. You can do and be anything that you want to be in life. You can do it, right? Until your last dying breath. Don't give up on whatever your vision may have been, unless it's like, oh, well, it's a medical ailment. There's no way I'm going to be able to hike the Klondikes, as an example. I don't know, just throwing something out there. If it's something like that, okay, but it's something else, then don't give up on whatever that dream or that vision was. I remember being in the audience, back in California during a taping of The Family Feud, right? And what's his name comes out. And at the end of the show, that was one of his biggest takeaways that I got from going there was he said, never give up on your childlike mentality, like your visions and your dreams, but never give up on your childlike mentality. I'm not saying to go out there and be a kid, right? You're an adult, do adult things, right? But there should be an element to you that there's still childlike within you. I posted today about just having a great week, and I had one of my buddies overseas and how old he was getting. I said, it's a mindset. And then once your body starts telling you F you, well, now, yes, you're probably getting old. But we had to wire and rewire the brain, is what I'm getting at, because it's only set for survival. It's not set for success. Said all that to say that, right? So we have to wire our brains for success. Part of that is coming to these classes, coming to Monday Masterminds, getting involved in the inner circle so you learn a little bit more. The more you know, the better you are. Now you learn something, now you implement it, you gather that data, you share it as part of your story. But the equation itself is you have to look at what is the effort that is required versus what is the perceived pay. Right? If there's a vague payoff, then what do you think the brain's going to say? I'm not taking out the trash. I'm not moving the furniture the way I want it to be. Right? It's going to say that automatically. Right? So here's the contrast so that we keep moving along in the interest of time and don't go over. Fuzzy vision versus crystal clear vision. Right? Look at the panel on the left. When your vision is fuzzy, the future feels like it's a fairy tale, right? It's out there somewhere. Present always wins against the vague someday. You know, like Netflix tonight versus maybe rich later. Netflix wins. No, how about rich in your future if that's what you want to do, but set times for that, right? Have that balance that you hear me talk about. Every day I make time to go do my video games. Every day I make time to work my business. Right? It's all about what my priorities are, what I want in my life. Today I'm making time to go have a massage. What? Right? It's part of that balance. Right? If I don't have that, then ooh, I'm out of balance. And I'm no good to myself, then I'm no good to anybody, especially those of you that are here watching, right? So you need to think about these things. And when every task feels like a chore because there's no mountaintop to climb towards, it's like, well, what am I doing here? Ask yourself, why am I doing what it is that I'm doing? And if you don't see a vision behind it, and the reason I'm saying that, right, is because if it doesn't move you into action to every day do something towards accomplishing that vision, maybe it's doing 5 conversations per hour, maybe just even once a week, right? I don't know what your schedule is, you know, I don't know, but you can find time if you really want it. You know what rich people do? They wake up an hour earlier, 2 hours earlier, whatever the case is, right? But they make time, they balance that time so that they put forward what they see as the vision and what they want to focus on, right? Make sense so far? But when you have a crystal clear vision, the brain treats it like it's already there, it's real, right? As if it's happening and you're in the moment, you're in the now, and then guess what happens? Everything shifts, right? Then it literally becomes like the Matrix, and you're like, oh, okay. You get these warm, fuzzy feelings like I'm getting now, or goosebumps, and you know that you're in the moment, you're in the time, right? You're doing the things that you're supposed to be doing, right? Discomfort becomes tolerable. Like, yeah, okay, it's not that big of a deal. If you have a crystal clear vision, decisions get way easier, right? Should I do this? Yes or no, right? But you'll be being pulled by purpose, which is way better than to not have any purpose at all. So, what's the missing piece, Rob? What is the missing piece? Borrowed belief if you need it, right? If you can't see the vision for yourself, borrow it from someone else who's walked the path. That's part of why people get mentors because they see it as that piece that they need or that dot that they need to connect in Rita's words, right? If you want to go out there and be the leader that people want to follow, you have to have that belief, or you need to borrow that belief from somebody else, right? So here's a few things you can look at and do. Proof of concept. They did it, so it's actually possible. If you know and seen somebody else do something that you want to do and they've achieved the goals that you want to achieve, it's possible, right? Somebody's done it before. There's this thing we like to call breadcrumbs, right? Breadcrumbs are always left if you pay attention, you listen, look, observe. Then there's pattern recognition. They see your blind spots before you do. Like for me, when it comes to pattern recognition, is people that work in the same capacity that I do, which for me is difficult to find. But when I do, it's like, ooh, I like that. I'll latch on to that. All right, what are they doing? See what they're doing. What's working for them? Try it out. See what works. If it did work, all right, great. I'm going to share that. Learn something new. Tried it out. This is the results. Want info? Simple things like that to create the curiosity for people to say, yeah, I want that info, so that they're coming after you instead of you chasing other people, right? Another borrowed belief is accountability, external structure until internal structure forms. For this, I can tell you what this comes down to is the reprogramming that you hear me talk about. Right, I had to do a lot of reprogramming from the military. The good, better, best. Never let it rest till your good is better and your better is best. That is something that I had to drill into myself so that I understood what it actually meant, what everything actually meant, each and every word, what it meant to me to give me a vision, right? Doesn't mean I'm perfect. We said that at the very beginning of the conversation. Still not where I want to be on my weight loss goals, but we're still working on it little by little. There is accountability to myself, if nobody else. And then vision expansion, right? See what's actually available behind your or beyond your environment, right? Just because you see what somebody else is doing doesn't mean that you can't do that and then some, right? Good, better, best pops into mind right away. But to have a coach, right, is going to pull you above the buying line by installing belief that maybe you didn't have before. Maybe you didn't have this military mindset that I've drilled into myself, right? But if you stick around, keep showing up, stay close to the fire, it'll wear off on you eventually, right? So let's talk about excavating the pain because this is important for us to cover since we're talking about the vision because again, we need to get geared up for 2026. And if we don't have a clear vision on what we want to accomplish for 2026, it's never going to happen. That being said, I want you guys to take what we're talking about now. Hopefully, you're taking notes and use it when it comes to this coming year. What do I mean by excavate the pain? Here it is, right on your screen. These are some of the questions. You guys hear me talk about how to get really good at asking questions and telling stories, right? Here's a couple of questions that you can use while you're talking to your prospects. Right? So, what does your life look like in 5 years if nothing changes? I want you to think about that question right now that I just asked you. What does your, I don't want an answer, keep it to yourself. But what does your life look like in 5 years if you don't do anything? If you don't make any change in the world, what does that look like? I want you to ask yourself that because I want you to start trying to use that as ammunition or an asset, whatever you want to call it, to ask those people that you're talking to that are potential prospects. I want you to excavate the pain from them so that it makes your job easier to close them. All right. Next question. What's the cost of staying comfortable? What's it going to cost you if you stay comfortable and you don't do anything? There's different ways that you can word this, right? What's it going to cost you if you don't do that? That's a great way of putting it. Then what do you do? Then it's like a tennis match and boop, you're popping the ball right back into their court. And now you see, are they going to hit it back? Are they going to lob it? Are they going to hit it out of bounds? What's going to happen, right? And then a big one here. Excuse me. Who else pays the price for your inaction? Like, who else pays the price if you don't do this? Is there anyone around? Are you married? Do you have kids? This is what I'm talking about. Excavate the pain. When you hear me talk about, you know, digging into the pain, this is what I'm talking about. Hopefully, this should put a dot together, Rita. Yes. All right. So here's where you may not have heard me talk about this, but here's where a second state change happens. All right. So the first state change is to get them to laugh before you talk about business. Then when you go into business, the state change is different. Raise your hand if you're with me. You understand what I'm talking about. Okay. So state change, ha ha ha, make them laugh, eraser on the brain, move to business. Now the state change happens even deeper because you start excavating the pain. We got hands going up on that one. Yeah, buddy. I think Paul was first, but I only see Vicky. Go ahead, Vicky. I was waiting. At some point in time, somebody would raise their hand and say something.
I was just agreeing with what you were saying. I
Okay.
mean that and what Doria put in there. That last one hurts. Who else pays the price for your inaction?
Oh, I didn't read that. Thank you.
That's
Yeah.
that's a deep one. That's a deep one.
Right? Can you imagine like using that? And look, and you wouldn't have that as a bullet in your arsenal if you weren't here. Right? Use it. State change is my new friend, Rita says. Absolutely. But then understanding how to control those state changes, Rita, that's the beautiful part about it. Right? Understanding how to control the state changes, meaning, okay, I can control the state change to make that person laugh, and then control the state change to dig in and excavate that pain that's within them. Right? Then I'm literally, you're gonna be like a psychiatrist, guys.
Okay, I gotta say what you talking about, Willis.
Okay, so I'm glad that you asked. So I'm making two state changes at least throughout the conversation if I do it right. The first state change is going to happen before I start any business conversation, right? So what is that state change, Rita? What is the state change that I make at the very beginning?
To make them laugh, to get them comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then now when I'm excavating the pain, what is that state change?
Whose pain? My pain? Their pain?
Anybody's pain. Look at the state change that I just had you do with the confusion.
What? Um,
So you're changing their state to be happy, right?
right.
And then you're changing their state into fear.
I am doing that. That's what I'm doing.
When you're talking to them, if you're not, you should be. That's part of excavating the pain is what I'm talking about. Right? So if I have somebody come talk to me, I'm gonna make them laugh first. We're gonna start talking business. I'm gonna say, what's your vision? Right? What do you want the money for? What are you accustomed to making now? And well, what happens if you don't make these changes? Oh
Okay.
man, boom. Now the state change is fear, right? But I've taken him from cleaning the slate, nothing in the brain, right, to engagement, building rapport, building the relationship, to now moving into fear.
So you're saying that's what I want to do. I want them to.
Correct.
This is
Correct.
the psychological game we're playing.
Correct. Correct.
Okay. All
Because
right.
you guys have only heard me talk about what's one state change.
Right.
Right. And again, this is only because I don't want to make it more difficult. Now we're digging into it. It's almost the end of the year. Get ready for 2026. I plan, like I said, this is week 49. We only have 3 more weeks, but I plan on next year, so make sure you keep showing up to have a 52-week spread about this whole thing, right? Dive even deeper so this next year that we can get even immersed more. But it's multiple state changes that happen if you do it the right way. So you're doing a state change to make them laugh, to erase, getting into the business conversation. Now you're putting a state change on them of fear and pain. So what happens if you don't make that change? You want them to dig into, that's what I'm talking about, digging into the pain. Because then they can physically see it. If you say what happens, they're like, oh shit, my wife won't be able to do this, or the kids won't be able to do that. They physically will see that in their brain. And when they see that, and then now you're the solution to that pain, it makes it very easy for them to say yes.
I understand that,
Cool.
but I dislike that tactic because when people try that on me, I know what they're trying to do.
Well, but again, it's all in how you do it, and you got to do it right, right? If you're reading that that's what somebody's saying, then they're not doing it the right way. Just like you had the state change of being confused, and you didn't see that, right?
Well, because I only knew it in one
Right,
as I'm very linear, I
right.
guess.
But it's a natural thing that happens, though, right?
Yeah.
It's just something natural that happens when it comes to changing somebody's state. So think about, well, what are the states that we have? We could be happy, fear. Um, uh, heck, I don't even have them here on slides to go by. Right? But ultimately, you want them to be happy, erase the brain, and then have conversation, and then excavate the pain. This
Okay.
is the key point of what we're talking about. By
Got it.
excavating the pain, you're doing another state change with them, right? So that they get emotionally connected to what happens if they don't make the changes, right? The pain is the catalyst for change. That's why it says it there on the screen there on the right hand side. Make
Mhm.
it real,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Make it real. And even
Okay.
if you don't like it, you can get really good at doing this so that it sounds natural so that they don't perceive it. And if they don't know anything about sales or they've never done network marketing, they're not going to know what the hell you're doing or talking about.
Yeah, but I do.
Yes, correct. Yeah, you can see it. That's good.
Yeah.
I have trained you well.
Yes, you have, Padawan.
Dale, go ahead. What you got to say about that? And we
No,
might go over a couple minutes, guys. So
no, I think that the most powerful one here um is the third one. Who else pays the price?
100%. Yeah,
Because someone can say, well, if you ask them, well, what would your life look like in 5 years? Well, someone could look at it and say, well, it's only me. I have to, if I don't take action, well, I have only myself to blame.
sure.
But when you bring, other people into the, well, if I don't take action, who else who else am I hurting?
Yeah,
That's a
but if you
big,
never ask, like you'll never know, right?
right.
That's the big thing.
It's the idea of, well, who else am I going to hurt? That's a
Right.
bigger issue,
Yeah, no,
right?
no doubt.
And,
I
and,
understand that. I
and
remember too, being, growing up where I think I've mentioned this to you guys before. They'd say, okay, well, where do you see yourself in 5 or 10 years? And I couldn't see myself past the age of 30. Here I am, 55 going on 26. And I'm like, what happened from 30 to 55, you
yeah,
know?
the the other thing I wanted to just backtrack a little bit, and I'll,
Sure, let's
and
make
I'll
it
only
quick
take a moment, because I know we're pressed on time as well. But going back to what you were talking about and how the brain wants to conserve energy, and I thought of a question because it's come to my mind, and I think it's one that everybody should ponder. And how much of the brain wanting to conserve energy and it's geared towards being comfortable. How much of that is set into us by our parents?
Ooh, ooh,
And, being successful to a point, right? And how much of that is geared by society? Society says you do this. You go to school, you go to high school, you go to college, you get a good job and you die broke,
which is
right?
part of the brainwashing.
which is part of the brainwashing, right? How many parents tell their kids, well, you go to school, right? And then you go to,
You
and then
know,
maybe, go ahead, bro.
yeah, you know what I love is I love the story of the underdog and that person that dropped out of school and all of a sudden, they are the rich millionaire person that they are because why? Because they had a vision on what it was that they wanted to do, right? So thank you for sharing, Dale.
Sure,
Let's go to Paul real quick. I just want to try to get through the last
sure.
slide or two that we have.
Thanks, brother. And by the way, I'm in a diner now, so I'm safe.
Yay. All right.
Yay. I just want to make a comment. Well, actually, ask you a question. It seems to me that making them feel comfortable is the compliment part, and
Sure.
then the fear part is criticizing them, and then whatever the rest of the parts are would then be to leave them feeling good. So, are
Mm,
they related, or is that a whole separate thing?
no, it's a whole separate thing. I'm glad that you
All
brought
right,
that
thought
up.
I was being, I
Yeah,
thought the
no.
grasshopper was chirping for. Yeah, I
No,
guess
no,
it's
no,
not.
no. That's okay. That's totally okay. When I talk about compliment, criticize, leave them feeling good, what I mean for that, that's good for you whenever you're talking to somebody else, especially if you're in a leadership position or not, right? If you just don't agree with something that somebody says and you want to give some feedback without them like feeling like you're attacking them or you know what I'm saying? Especially that. You don't want to give somebody feedback and like Rita and I talked about the other day,
Yeah,
last time, right? Well,
right.
who are
Well,
you?
I mean, for
I
the
don't want you
record,
bossing me around,
yeah,
that kind of
for
thing.
the record, I wasn't going to say anything, but 4 out of 5 voices in my head told me to do it.
That's all right. That's all right. I listen to the voices in my head too. Thanks for sharing, brother. Dr. Lisa, what do you got, my friend? Getting some gold nuggets out of this?
Absolutely. I just wanted to hone in on the word excavate. That's deeper than dig.
Yeah,
So going beyond the surface. That's
100%. That's
I
why it's
appreciate that
excavating.
idea.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing a note to that. Virgil, what do you got, my friend?
No, there were so many that popped by that I kind of lost track myself, but it was really about that state change and the excavating, and it actually brought in also the question that Paul put on the board as well. Me, the way I act on it and the way I frame it for myself is that it's when you're doing an assessment with a client, you're forced to discover, right? And you can't discover without venturing in these sensitive space of conversation. And for you to do that, you have to stay changed constantly,
Yep.
right? But when you
And
first introduce yourself to the client, because you want this to be a friendly, more than professional interaction, right? That connection, that human connection, you want to start with that. You will start with a state of friendship and not necessarily business relationship oriented. But as you progress to the conversation, you have to shift that momentum into that business talk, right? And if it becomes too complicated, you have to shift it back into the friendly zone before you go back into business talk, right? These are
my
these
man.
multiple, yeah, these are these multiple stage change that we're talking about. It's how you manage the emotion in the conversation, right? Because if you come in here, and that's the issue with the sales closer oriented, they come in with one state and they want to imprint that state onto the client. Hurry up and buy. When it's not that. I come in where they're friendly. If you get too intense, I might step back and say, "Hey, let's take it easy." What it, and this is only when you're able to master that sauce, right?
Yes.
Eyes,
Keyword.
right?
Master.
Shock and awe, right? These
Mm.
are, you have to understand that
Oh,
balance. You have to live through it
shock and
basically each time. That was my 2 cents to
I
it.
love it. I love it. Thank you for those 2 cents, man. Those pennies will make us money. And I guess we can end the show now because mission accomplished. We got some aha moments and we got some gold here. So good stuff. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. So let's wrap this up because I know time is of value. So bear with me, Paul, okay? Uh, paint the possibility. Okay. I'm gonna try to go through these pretty quick. So painting the possibility, but I don't want to lose anything within it, right? When you now after you excavate, right, you want to paint the possibility. You don't want to be vague financial freedom. You want to be specific, right? What are those sensory details? That's why I ask, okay, well, what do you want the money for? What are you accustomed to making now? Those questions that I ask are there for a reason psychologically so that I can dig into that pain or excavate the pain, shall we say. And then now we paint the possibilities. We paint the picture. Maybe what time do you wake up? Where are you? What do you see when you open up your eyes? Right? So now, if we do these changes, what does it look like to you? Right? Here's the flip side of it. Excuse me. So you're bringing them into the state change of fear, and then now you're putting them into the state change of possibility, just similar to what Virgil said. So, yay, he gets it. There's going to be constant state changes. And when you master it, then you'll master those state changes. People in their minds will do the things that you want them to do without them even realizing it. Okay. This is why I say with this information, I feel like we should give the classic Spider-Man response with great power comes great responsibility. Right? So we don't teach you these things to go out and try to manipulate people. This is not why we're teaching you this, okay? Just to be very clear, very, very clear. That is not the intention. But when you understand these things, again, your life becomes real simple when it comes to doing sales or building a team or having people do what it is that you want them to do. Say, so now we paint the possibility. What does it look like? So now all those things are solved. You've got your 5K, your 10K per month, your Lamborghini in the driveway, whatever the heck it is, right? How do things look now? When you wake up, what do you see? Right? Another one you say is connection. Who's with you? Who are you spending your time with? Which goes right back to who else is involved, right? And then what are the actions that you're taking? So you've heard this, which is pretty common. What would you be doing today if you had no money worries, right? So what are you doing on a random Tuesday? I know what I'm doing on a Tuesday. We're doing how-to Tuesdays with Virgil and myself, right? And then whatever the hell I want to do. Right? A perfect Tuesday. It's not a vacation day, a regular day. What does freedom actually look like in the mundane? Get to these questions and ask yourself those questions so that you can encourage and create your vision to be bigger so that you reach whatever the possibilities that you're shooting for. Then we have the identity bridge. This is very important. Who do you need to become? Ask yourself this question, please. Ask yourself this question. And you know me, you know I hate the word please. It's on my forbidden words list. But ask yourself that question. Who do you need to become? If you're that person that says, "Oh, I want to be a millionaire," well, who do you need to become to be a millionaire? Right? That's part of the manifestation process. If you go pay attention, look and listen to all those people out there that are teaching that, you have to become that person. In essence, you have to be in alignment with that specific vibration, right? We could dig deep into those topics, but we'll be here way longer than an hour or 2 hours. But we need to think about what are the beliefs? What does that future vision of you believe about yourself in the world? Same things that I'm asking you to ask yourself are the questions that I want you to ask your potential prospects. If we're all on the same sheet of music, raise your hand, say hell yeah, say something, right? Wave around like you just don't care. These are questions you ask yourself and then ask your prospect. I'm telling you, telling you, telling you. I will never give you bad information that will damage you. Okay? Habits. How do they spend their time? What do they do daily that you don't? Right? Think about it. Well, if you want to be like a specific person or celebrity, what are they doing daily? Find out. I know Mark Wahlberg as an example. I know he wakes up at 4 o'clock in the morning and hits the gym. Right? I know I've listened to Dr. Eric Thomas talking about Warren Buffett, and what he does is actually takes 6 hours a day and reads old newspapers. Right? What are those habits? And if those are something that you want to be, then you have to identify with that to create that bigger vision, right? This is again, I don't want you guys to leave because I want to make sure that we get the whole gist of why I put this all together when it comes to vision and procrastination. It wasn't just to say, hey, you're procrastinating, here's why. Right? It was so that I could put together a means to an end that actually help you fix whatever vision issues that you might have and understand that there's more to it than just, oh, I'm lazy, right? And then to be able to connect those beliefs with the dream, with the vision, so that you start stepping into your power and you start becoming that person that you want to be. Everybody with me? Say, hell yeah. Tolerations. What have they stopped tolerating that you still put up with? Right? There's a point in time where you got to draw a line in the sand. I'm not going to chase people anymore. I'm not going to this. I'm not going to that. Right? There's an identity bridge that needs to happen, and it happens within you. Right? We've said this time and time before. This is not about pitching and selling. This, to be clear, so it's not dysfunctional anymore. It's about personal development. Right? It's who you need to become to be that successful person that you want. Okay. Now we must make sure that we have a non-negotiable anchor. Right? Anchors are very important so that we can anchor down what our vision is all about. Okay. Write this down if you need to. Take a screenshot, whatever the heck it is that you need to do. Type it in Braille, whatever. Okay. I am building what so that what? Make it super simple. Fill in the blanks. Write it down. What is it that you're building so that what? You need to have some kind of non-negotiable anchor in these things that we're talking about for you to have your clear vision for 2026. I need you to write down what it is that you want to see. You want to wake up on a Tuesday, you want to open up your windows. What the heck do you want to see? And tie it to that anchor. Say, I'm building whatever it is so that whatever else can happen. Okay. Need you to be specific, not vague dreams. We need real tangible outcomes. What do you want to see? If you want to be in a mansion by the sea overlooking a lighthouse, write it down, be specific. Okay, again, by writing it down, it's going to work in your subconscious mind. Be emotional. Why does it matter so deeply? Why do you want to be on that beach, smelling that beautiful water and the breeze coming through? Oh my God, I can just envision it now. Hopefully, I'm taking you with me. Memorable, short enough to recall. I want to just always wake up in there because that's my happy space. And when I'm in my happy space, I have balance. And when I have balance, things come into my life that are just amazingly beautiful and abundant, and blessings just overfill. So tie to a non-negotiable anchor. Okay. Now, comfort kills more dreams than failure ever could. I'll say that again. Take a screenshot if you need to. Comfort kills more dreams than failure ever could. Right? So we talk about this all the time. We don't need you to be perfect, right? We just need you to take action. 'Cause nobody can do it for you. And I'm telling you right now that I'm not directing it towards you guys because you guys show up, but I see it so much online. People not taking the right action, and it's only because they don't have the right vision. Okay? But your vision is waiting, my friends. Your vision is totally waiting for you to crush 2026. Now, the question is whether you'll stay comfortable or whether you'll start building, right? So I want you to write your anchor statement down. That's your mission for this week to do. Share it, live it, my friends. And that's all the slides that I got for you. If you want to open it up for Q&A or any comments, feedback, gladly accept that. Ready to get some value out of this today? Got you guys thinking about some things. Hopefully, you guys wrote some things down.
Absolutely.
Good. Awesome.
Starting my conversational hack book.
Okay.
I'm picking up on things, strong points that you're always laying down, and I'm going to wrap them
Good.
up into a red booklet that everybody should have. Quick.
Right
Oh,
on.
yeah, that's the one. Diving in.
Right on.
You have to have those because, I mean, there are some pretty powerful points here that can be sometimes complicated to grasp at first hand. But if you stay within this bubble, when the light comes up, you'll see it and you can't unsee it's a skill. It's like, I got
Yep.
that skill now,
Oh, yeah,
right?
bro.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
once you see it, you can't unsee it. Yeah, the same thing goes too, right? Once the wallet's expanded, it cannot contract. It's the same thing with your brain. Once your brain's expanded, it cannot contract either. So appreciate y'all being here. Appreciate that feedback. If nothing else, let's go out there, let's kick ass, take some names, have a fantastic week, and we'll see y'all on How To Tuesday and Wednesday with us tomorrow, Wednesday. Toot toot, love you, bye bye.